The most mysterious disappearances in the Chernobyl zone. Hey everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most eerie and enigmatic places on Earth, the Chernobyl exclusion zone. Imagine this. An entire region frozen in time since that fateful night on April 26, 1986, when the world witnessed the worst nuclear disaster in history. The explosion at Reactor 4 sent radioactive material spewing into the air, affecting not just the immediate area but countries across Europe. The immediate impacts were catastrophic, not just for the environment but for the thousands of people who called the surrounding areas home. Entire towns were evacuated, and life as they knew it came to an abrupt end. Fast forward to today, and the 30-kilometer radius around the reactor, known as the exclusion zone, stands as a haunting reminder of that tragedy. It's like stepping into a Soviet-era time capsule, with abandoned buildings, deserted streets, and nature slowly reclaiming the land. But here's where things get even more chilling. Over the years, there have been mysterious disappearances within this zone that blur the lines between fact, folklore, and fear. So grab a seat, and maybe a flashlight, because we're about to explore some of the most baffling vanishings in the Chernobyl zone. The enigmatic allure of the exclusion zone. You might be wondering, why would anyone venture into such a hazardous place? Well, the Chernobyl exclusion zone has this magnetic pull on adventurers, urban explorers, and thrill-seekers from all over the world. They call themselves stalkers, a nod to the Russian sci-fi film, Stalker, and the popular video game series based on it. These folks illegally sneak into the zone, drawn by the eerie beauty and the adrenaline rush of exploring a real-life post-apocalyptic landscape. Imagine wandering through ghost towns where time stands still, with nature overtaking man-made structures. It's a paradise for explorers and photographers alike. But it's not just about the thrill. The zone has seeped into our culture through movies, documentaries, and video games like Chernobyl Diaries and Stalker. It's become the ultimate symbol of post-apocalyptic adventure. However, it's not all fun and games. Getting caught can land you in serious legal trouble. Plus, the health risks are very real, from residual radiation to unstable buildings that could collapse at any moment. So while the allure is strong, the dangers are even stronger. Documented incidents and unexplained absences. Now, let's get into the mysterious disappearances. But first, a heads up, tracking these incidents is tricky. Since many of the people venturing into the zone are doing so illegally, there's a lack of official records. Authorities often don't even know people are missing until much later, if at all. That said, there have been reports over the years of individuals and even small groups who entered the zone and were never seen again. Some stories mention explorers who went in and simply vanished without a trace, their abandoned gear or campsites sometimes found by officials or other stalkers. Ukrainian authorities have occasionally released statements acknowledging missing persons within the zone. They've noted a handful of cases annually, but the exact numbers are hard to pin down due to the secretive nature of these trips. It's a perfect recipe for rumors and speculation. Did these people get lost, fall victim to the environment, or is there something more sinister at play? Legends of the vanished. Now, let's delve into the stories that locals whisper about, the legends that give you goosebumps. People from nearby towns have passed down tales of the spirits of those who perished during the disaster. They speak of ghosts wandering the abandoned streets of Pripyat, shadows moving in the windows of empty apartment blocks, and inexplicable noises echoing through the night. There are accounts from workers and authorized visitors who claim to have seen apparitions or felt an unseen presence while in the zone. Some talk about strange lights flickering in the distance or disembodied voices when no one else is around. And it's not just ghosts. There are reports of other unexplained phenomena, like electronic devices malfunctioning without cause or areas where compasses spin wildly. Some attribute these happenings to paranormal activity amplified by the high radiation levels. Whether you're a believer or a skeptic, these stories add a chilling layer to the already mysterious atmosphere of Chernobyl. Environmental dangers that could lead to disappearances. Okay, back to reality for a bit. The Chernobyl zone isn't just spooky, it's downright dangerous, and not just because of radiation. First off, radiation hotspots are scattered throughout the area. While some zones are relatively safe, others can expose you to lethal doses in a short time. Radiation sickness can mess with your mind, causing confusion and disorientation. Imagine getting lost because you can't think straight. Then there's the physical state of the place. Buildings have been decaying for over 3 decades. Floors can give way, roofs can collapse, and stairwells can be death traps. The overgrown vegetation hides all sorts of hazards like open manholes, sinkholes, and sharp debris. Let's not forget the wildlife. The absence of humans has allowed animals to thrive. Wolves, bears, and even wild boars roam freely. While they're usually shy, hunger or territorial instincts can make them dangerous. And trust me, you don't want to run into a pack of wolves when you're miles from help. All these factors create a perfect storm where getting injured, lost, or worse is a real possibility. Human factors contributing to mysteries, but wait, there's more. Humans can be just as dangerous as the environment. The zone has unfortunately become a hotspot for illegal activities like poaching, logging, and scrap metal scavenging. These aren't your friendly neighborhood activities, they're run by people who don't want to be discovered. Imagine stumbling upon a group of illegal loggers or poachers. Best case scenario, they scare you off. Worst case, well, let's not go there. Conflicts between different groups sneaking into the zone can happen, and they might not end well. Then there are the security personnel. The authorities do patrol the zone, and getting caught can mean hefty fines or even jail time. Some adventurers, trying to avoid capture, might hide or flee deeper into the zone, getting lost in the process. Don't underestimate the psychological impact either. The isolation, the eerie silence, and the haunting surroundings can play tricks on your mind. Fear and panic can lead to poor decisions, making a bad situation even worse. The shadow of Chernobyl. Myths versus reality. With all these stories floating around, it's hard to separate fact from fiction. Movies and video games have really ramped up the mystique of the zone. They've given us images of mutant creatures, supernatural events, and shadowy figures lurking in the darkness. While these make for great entertainment, they blur the lines between what's real and what's not. Let's debunk some common myths. Firstly, there are no documented cases of mutant creatures attacking humans. Sure, there are animals with anomalies due to radiation, but nothing like the monsters in Stalker. Secondly, supernatural explanations for disappearances lack evidence. Most of the so-called paranormal activities can be chalked up to natural phenomena or the power of suggestion. When you're in a creepy place, your mind can play tricks on you. Scientific explanations often point to environmental hazards and psychological effects. Strange lights? Maybe bioluminescent organisms or distant fires. Weird sounds? Could be structural settling or wildlife. So while it's fun to speculate, it's important to keep a level head and critically evaluate these stories. Search and rescue challenges. Now, you might be thinking, can't they just send in search parties when someone goes missing? Well, it's not that simple. First off, access to certain parts of the zone is restricted due to high radiation levels. Rescue operations have to follow strict protocols to protect the personnel involved. They can't just waltz in without risking their own safety. Then there's the issue of the terrain. The dense vegetation and lack of maintained paths make searching incredibly difficult. Buildings are unsafe to enter, and the zone is vast. About 2,600 square kilometers. That's a lot of ground to cover. Resource constraints also play a big role. Authorities have limited funding and manpower. Their priority is often on preventing illegal entry rather than rescuing those who shouldn't have been there in the first place. All these factors make search and rescue operations challenging, and sometimes, they just aren't feasible. The zone today. Monitoring and safety measures. So what's being done today to address these issues? Quite a bit, actually. Security has been ramped up over the years. Surveillance systems, increased patrols, and even drones are used to monitor the zone. The goal is to deter illegal entry and catch those who try. On the flip side, tourism has become a controlled way for people to experience the zone safely. Authorized tours are available, complete with guides who know where it's safe to go. They provide safety gear and educate visitors about the risks and history. Researchers are also active in the zone, studying radiation effects and environmental recovery. They're working with international organizations to manage the area and learn from it. These measures help keep people safe while satisfying that human curiosity we all have. So, there you have it, a blend of mystery, danger, and human intrigue all wrapped up in the Chernobyl exclusion zone. The disappearances we've talked about are likely the result of a mix of environmental hazards, human error, and maybe a dash of fear-fueled imagination. It's a place where the line between myth and reality gets blurry. This whole topic highlights our endless fascination with the unknown. Places like Chernobyl draw us in, daring us to explore the forbidden. But it's crucial to remember that curiosity can have consequences. As we wrap up, let's respect the zone for what it is. A sobering reminder of past mistakes and a testament to nature's resilience. If you're ever tempted to go, make sure it's through the proper channels and with full awareness of the risks. Thanks for joining me on this journey. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more explorations into the world's most fascinating places. Until next time, stay curious but stay safe.